Hello, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Hello, hello, and welcome. We're so glad that you're able to join today for the ninth African Leadership Persons of the Year. We're looking so forward to this opportunity to hear from some of the luminaries of African life, civic, health, the economy. We're going to be learning so much today. I want to welcome you. My name is Nwandi Lawson. I am the Chief Cultivation Officer for the Virtues Collective here in Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States, and a good friend of African Leadership Magazine. And it'll be my pleasure to kind of walk us through the day today as we really are here to listen to some of the central voices in Africa today, those who are telling the story from the perspective that it needs to be told. We want to welcome you and to remind you that if you'd like to interact today, the chat is, of course, open. And we would be happy to have your questions and other remarks that you want to leave there. As you are going online and sharing with your friends that you're here today, don't forget we have some great hashtags out there. We have hashtag ALM, POTY 21. That's for the African Leadership Magazine Person of the Year 21. We also have hashtag ALM Persons of the Year and hashtag ALM POTY9. So I'll be sure to also put those in the chat. So you'll have those as well. Be sure to put those into your Twitter feeds and the other places that you're sharing with your friends that you're here today. But without further ado, I'd like to help us to kind of welcome this particular occasion and this particular opportunity with a brief African Leadership Magazine video documentary. So we'll take a look.
For far too long, Africa has suffered from negative stereotypes and media bias at the hands of the major Western media organizations. The continent has been described and called by every single challenge faced by the people, including poverty, disease, hunger, and youth unemployment, breeding despair and hopelessness in Africa's young people in our globalized world. As a result, these challenges and illegal migration occasioned by this and other issues continue to be major concerns. But that is not all the story. Africa is home to 6 out of the world's top 10 fastest growing economies. Africa is a tourist haven and an ultimate investment destination with abundant human and mineral resources. So many more positives and progress stories that the Western media selectively ignore and other times actively suppress.
On our own, we're invisible. But together, if we choose, we could be invincible. And that's the thing for Africa. We don't have to any longer take the nonsense about how other people define us. Let us define ourselves. And we have the genius, we have the knowledge, we have the ability, but also look at our countries. We have the minerals, we have the land, and we have all that which could make Africa the first continent in the world.
Over the last 13 years, African Leadership Magazine has committed itself to tirelessly showcasing the best of Africa to a global audience, telling the African story from an African perspective, highlighting unique African solutions to peculiar challenges being faced by the continent today, while standing in defense of African and minority leaders globally that are known for their legacy-based approach to leadership, but unduly attacked by foreign mercenary interest.
I accept to go above and beyond and help Africa make even greater strides. I accept to deliver selflessly. I accept to serve Africa and Africa's interest until the day that I die. But it takes a village. So tonight, please join me by reaching out the hand of the person next to you. Just reach out to them. There's no coronavirus out here. Hold them. Then tell them, let's do more. Together. For Africa. Together. build a better Africa. And give them a high five.
African Leadership Magazine and its events and conferences have become the continent's foremost indigenous African-led business platform, helping business leaders, entrepreneurs, and executives develop and deepen their African influence and networks to fast-track their growth story and business interests on the continent. In Africa, where many of the countries are known for weak institutions, poor infrastructure, and some of the world's horrific conflicts, the inspiring example and impact that one truly effective leader exemplifies and transmits is truly powerful and game-changing, not just for the immediate beneficiaries, but for the world. That is why African Leadership Magazine have made it our mission to not only discover and celebrate these outstanding African leaders and institutions and position them as agents of change that they truly are, but enable them to continue to inspire and lead effectively so our world becomes a better place for all.
We aim for the same economic and social progress. Shoulder to shoulder, we will stand together and continue to build an Africa that is free and independent. The struggles of our people and their development aspiration remain fundamentally intertwined with those of fellow Africans elsewhere in our continent.
We continue to publish the bi-monthly and highly rated African Leadership Magazine, as well as the gender-focused quarterly Amazon's Watch magazine, and have spotlighted, celebrated, and worked with over 20 African heads of state, over 250 senior African corporate leaders, public servants, and community champions, enabling these leaders to go on to make their communities to become healthier, safer, and more prosperous.
The one who buys what you produce supports your prosperity. Therefore, there must be no sectarianism in Uganda because it fragments our market. Moreover, even the Ugandan market is not enough. We need the African market. Hence, Pan-Africanism is core to our program. With the united African market, we can negotiate for access to other markets of the USA, China, India, Russia, Japan.
Two of the heads of states we worked with went on to win the Nobel Prize, while our high-level events and work with business leaders have resulted in over $5 billion in deals and more than 500 strategic partnership deals in the last 13 years, creating jobs and opportunities for all. And from a percentage of our corporate profits, we have so far catered and sponsored over 86 indigent African children through their secondary and tertiary education through our Send a Child to School program, our proudest achievement. This is a resurgent Africa, and all of us have a role to play in it. And together, we will bring back the sunshine and sustain the progress that the continent truly deserves. Visit our website and join hands with us as we work towards the eradication of extreme poverty using education as a tool, and the overall attainment of the Global Sustainable Development Goals, both for our benefits and for future generations to come.
And of course, that vision of Africa, which we are so pleased that African Leadership Magazine is able to provide, is really what brings us together today. So welcome once again to the 9th African Leadership Persons of the Year ceremony. Going to take you through quite a day of hearing some of these insights. You heard a few even in the video presentation, but I'm sure for all of us, it's going to help to advance our vision of Africa, such a vast continent. And even if we focus in one particular country, we can't get the full vision. And that's why we are really delighted, of course, to be here at the invitation of African Leadership Magazine. I want to introduce to actually welcome us and begin the ceremony, the publisher of the magazine. You all know him very well, Dr. Giami. But maybe we can, as we listen to him, really, really appreciate that in this particular time, there are very few media sources that have been so committed to making sure that the true story of Africa is actually told. So without further ado, I do want us to welcome Dr. Ken Giami.
Thank you so much, Wande. It's always great to be in the company of such great leaders. Let me start very quickly by recognizing His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo. Let me also recognize very, very warmly the former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, here present. You're welcome, sir. Let me recognize His Excellency Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma, former President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Her Excellency Mrs. Graca Machel, His Excellency Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus. He's joining us in a few minutes from now. Honorable ministers here present, the Honorable Minister for Finance, Republic of Liberia, the Honorable Minister for Commerce and Industry, Kingdom of Eswatini, our very distinguished ambassadors, members of the diplomatic corps, distinguished business leaders, just to mention a few, Dr. Barry Benoit, Chairman of Contact Group Global, distinguished academics, and just to mention Professor Samuel of the Niger Delta University, other distinguished leaders, leading academics, military leaders. We have General Vincent Nondue, the head of the Defense Forces of Malawi. And forgive me if I didn't mention your name, but permit me to stop here. And distinguished leaders, my friends, members of the press, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It always gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to events such as this, and especially the 2021 edition of the African Persons of the Year Investiture Ceremonies. This event has always taken place physically in South Africa, and because of the very peculiar year where we experienced last year and what we're still recovering from COVID-19, we're forced to have this very first virtual version of the African Persons of the Year event. The Persons of the Year Award was conceived as a platform to recognize and celebrate the exceptional contributions of our African brothers and sisters who continue to hazard their lives in the service of Africa and in the service of humanity. And we're also very excited because their choice for these awards was not by any special interest group or group of editors, but their choice were the choice of ordinary Africans and lovers of Africa everywhere in the world who came out and said, we see what you do, we're proud of the work you do, and we want to celebrate you. So on behalf of all Africans who voted everywhere, may I congratulate all of our winners this year, and thank you for being a part of this ceremony. This year's edition, which is the 9th in the series, attracted over 120,000 votes on the African Leadership Magazine website. There are over 7 million active online engagements from Africans, those who had voted and wanted to lend their voice to what they believed in. And we saw quite lots of young people also participating, and women. I think these are exciting times for Africa because the issues of leadership is no more left just for leaders at the top, but for everyday Africans. I'm therefore very happy with the growing involvement of Africans in this selection process, and we trust that this will continue to grow, especially because it's been a very challenging year for most people around the world due to the outbreak of COVID-19. And therefore make bold to say that this year's honorees are truly the people's choice. 7 leaders who, by sheer resilience and a commitment to making a difference in the lives of their people, have broken stereotypes and limitations and are actively moving society forward in very remarkable ways. Sometimes even without their notice, they don't recognize how much they've done. But society is watching, and we are truly proud of the great work you do. In Africa, like in most developing world, the inspiring example and impact that one effective leader exemplifies is truly powerful and game-changing, not just for the immediate beneficiaries, but for the world at large. Such leaders become a notable point of reference for what is possible, and also they go to inspire a whole generation of upcoming leaders who look at them and choose to also make their own contributions to society. That's why we made it our mission to discover and celebrate these outstanding African leaders and institutions, and sometimes unsung leaders. And we wish to continue to position them not just as agents of change, but as enablers who inspire and make society move forward. Therefore, may I say that though this is a recognition for what you've done, it is indeed a call to do more. We have not only used our platform to celebrate African achievers, but have continued to promote our most distinguished leaders for other credible third-party recognitions and global endorsements, supporting leaders in delivering their respective mandates. We are very proud, like you saw in the video, that some of our alumni have gone on to win Nobel Prizes. I'm expecting more Nobel Prizes from the list of African Leadership Persons of the Year. And I really want to encourage you that this is not an end in itself. This is a call to do more and continue to do more. Our high-level events have not only been talk shops, but we've tried to use it to empower businesses. And we're happy to announce that in the last 15 years, we have been able to bring together over $20 billion in deals at our events. And these testimonials encourage us to continue to do what we're currently doing, in spite of the horrendous challenges that we all face. Therefore, welcome you warmly to today's occasion. And as is always the case at our event, today is about celebrating Africa and African success stories. Today is also about renewing our collective commitment to make Africa truly great by addressing some of the challenges that we are faced with. Some of the world's poorest countries are in Africa, and according to a 2018 World Bank report, it is projected that Africa might have 90% of the world's poorest people by 2030 if the current scales continue. This scale of poverty breeds crime, breeds insecurity, health epidemics, and several other challenges that could snowball into global proportions. COVID-19 especially exposed the inherent weaknesses in most of our national polities. These statistics must change, and we are the ones we're waiting for to make that change happen. We are the ones that will make Africa move forward. It is our time, and it is indeed Africa's time. Hence, I'm excited that today we will not just be celebrating leaders, but we would be hearing from some of Africa's finest leaders. I'm excited I'll be listening to His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, who has true exemplary leadership, continue to blaze the trail everywhere around Africa and globally. We're also going to hear a keynote address from His Excellency President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana, as we seek pathways to the future we all desire for our beloved continent. We'll also be hearing from a few other African leaders whose story, I hope, inspires someone to take positive action today. The African Leadership Magazine is passionately committed to fighting the scourge of extreme poverty on the continent through our education-focused corporate social responsibility trust, through awarding of scholarships to indigent African students in secondary schools, currently across 7 countries. We plow back committedly a percentage of our corporate profits, gleaned mostly through advertising and sponsorship of our events, to cater for these children. Consider these children who ordinarily would not have had an education, but for our intervention, our proudest achievement. Your continued partnerships and your continued support of the African Leadership brand has made all of this possible, for which I want to thank all of you. I also want to use this opportunity to congratulate some of our listees in the ALM Top 100 African American leaders. We've made it a point of duty to continue to partner across the Americas, across Europe, and especially intra-African partnerships. We also want to commend the top 25 East African business leaders, which we also have picked and continue to celebrate for the work they do, recognizing that it is the private sector as the growth, so the engine of growth for our nations. Pledge our total support and partnerships to all of these individuals to help them promote their vision, their mission, and help them achieve their objectives. We are also proud to announce the newly minted African Leadership Council, a special platform for leaders and policy titans who are committed to deepening their African reach, building lifetime partnerships for development. You'll be getting more details through your emails on how to engage with the African Leadership Council. Therefore, in closing my address, may I once again congratulate all of our leaders and all of our winners today and encourage you to keep doing it. You've truly made Africa proud, and you've made all of us proud. Continue to remain beacons of hope, not just to current generations, but let your story be told for the future generations of our people. Thank you for listening, and God bless you all.
Indeed, please, a round of applause. Though we can't all hear one another, we do see the excitement that's building in the room. So thank you so much for opening and setting the stage for us, Dr. Giami. We want to continue because, one of the exciting pieces about all of the forums that are hosted by African Leadership Magazine is the fact that you get to be in the room, if you will, with some of the top leaders in the African continent, both those current and those who have served for many, many years. And even though the room is virtual today, there's no exception to that. And so we're going to move into our first keynote address today, one that I'm sure we've all been looking forward to, the opportunity to hear from His Excellency, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, the former president of the Republic of Nigeria. He was in his service between 2010 and 2015. He made such major contributions that really were well known and have been well known all around the world to the political, the economic, the social development of this nation, in particular to reframing the story of Nigeria, which is often accurately told through, almost a meme culture, something that's really, really very easy to roll off the tongue and perhaps a little bit glib. So he worked tirelessly to make sure that the true nature of the country came to be known, and that even as it was experiencing the challenges that a nation would, he continued to build the stature of the country, growing the economy to the largest in Africa with a GDP over $500 billion. Now, since leaving office, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan has remained totally committed to promoting democracy, credible elections, peace and respect, and the rule of law throughout Africa. He has a foundation that is very, very committed to continuing this legacy. And the fact that since he has left office, he's continued to receive both continental recognition, but also global recognition as well. Today, he's going to present to us promoting sustainable peace and security in Africa, lessons for political leaders. Please join me in welcoming His Excellency, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, the former president of the Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you so much. The President of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, Their Excellencies are here with us, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am pleased to be part of this special virtual award presentation ceremony. We now live in a world different from what we are used to, and our way of doing things is also changing. This virtual award event is one of the manifestations of the new reality occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic. I thank the African Leadership Persons of the Year Award Committee for their initiative and consistency in holding the award, which is now in its 9th year. I especially appreciate the chairman, Dr. Giami, for his commitment to changing the African story. I appreciate the committee for finding me worthy of the African Peace and Security Leader of the Year 2020 award. I also commend other awardees who are prominent African leaders and all others participating in the program today. Awards and recognitions are good because it reassures the recipient that their little contributions to the growth of society have not gone unnoticed. It also comes with a sense of responsibility, which jolts the awardees to the fact that they can no longer go below a certain threshold in the conduct of human affairs. To all of us receiving the award today, it is an urge to do even more. In my own case, I'm delighted that my little contributions towards peace and sustainable democracy in our continent is being recognized. Along this line, I have been asked to share my thoughts on the theme, promoting sustainable peace and security in Africa, lessons for political leaders. This is an important topic, given the time we are in, because of the urgent need to bring an end to growing insecurity, instability, mounting misery, and despair in our society. Drawing from my experience in and out of office, I've come to know that peace building is one of the greatest challenges facing our world today. The results of the 2020 Global Peace Index released by the Institute for Economics and Peace shows a marked deterioration in the level of global peace. It also noted that terrorism and internal conflict have been the biggest contributors to the global deterioration in peace. Leadership commands great influence in the affairs of men, such that the fate of a nation is often interconnected with that of the leader. Leaders that promote peace and build institutions always focus on those deliveries that cater to the needs of our citizens and keep them safe. Relative to other parts of the world, Africa remains a continent that is greatly challenged by insecurity and conflicts. Peace in our continent is mainly threatened by political instability, poor democratic practices, and weak institutions. Many African nations that are today mired in conflicts or just emerging from one often have such crises rooted in the struggle for leadership. In Africa, it appears we see the political process as a civil war or a fraudulent enterprise that has no rules. This is unhealthy for our polity as it impairs our development. I always make the point very clear that there is a clear link between a nation's social and economic standing and its position in the Global Conflict Index. Nations with fewer conflicts and more stable leadership tend to be richer and better off in the human development profile. The nations with the lowest progress on the conflicts on the official United Nations Human Development Index, many of them in Africa, are those that are either poorly governed or embroiled in leadership struggle. That is why I spend my time supporting democracy and peaceful transition of power on the continent, because I know that it is very relevant to our search for good governance, peace, and prosperity in our shores. It is for this reason that the African Union mechanism for promoting peace, security, and stability focuses on providing good governance as a means of tackling such issues as widespread poverty, youth unemployment, illiteracy, and absence of free and fair elections. More than in any other part of the world, self-centered and egocentric contests for power by African politicians have, more often than not, unleashed widespread violence and insecurity on the African soil. When politicians undermine democratic principles and usurp citizens' rights, it creates a situation that impacts negatively on peace and development. This is a recipe for lawlessness because excessive power obviously elicits negative reaction, as those on the receiving end may be forced to revolt against the system. Let me conclude by stating that the pathway to stabilizing our polity is to improve the quality of governance by sanitizing and strengthening the electoral processes in our continent. That way, the citizens will be in a good position to hold leaders accountable through the ballot. For peace to reign, those who wield power should respect the rule of law, be fair to all, and dispense justice in a manner that promotes equity and boosts the people's confidence in their nations. I thank you all.
And we thank you so much, Dr. Jonathan, for those very, very wise remarks and helping us to really see the correlation between stability of the nation and the economic prosperity of the nation, the peace and its prosperity. We thank you very much for sharing those with us. We want to now bring to the stage, as we begin our recognition of the African Leadership Persons of the Year, we want to bring our first presenter to the stage, if you will. It is His Excellency Ernest Bai Koroma, the former president of Sierra Leone. We know, of course, that he served as the fourth president of Sierra Leone from 2007 until 2018, and that he did this after he had served in the nation's parliament for many years. He, of course, was faced with a most arduous task of rebuilding a country that had been literally devastated by years of war. And he met this challenge with this undying characteristic that he has, this enthusiasm for literally rebuilding. And within weeks of being elected, very systematically, very strategically, he identified the priority sectors that were capable of really helping the economic development of the nation to advance. This approach, of course, paid off, and this much needed confidence and support in this nation was actually being built. And of course, now to his credit, Sierra Leone is reported to be one of the world's most successful cases of post-conflict recovery, as well as peacekeeping. So we want to, of course, bring him to the stage for our first recognition of Person of the Year, His Excellency Ernest Bai Koroma.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Your Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, President Jonathan, Goodluck Jonathan, other excellencies here present. Let me say good afternoon, Africa. Good afternoon, the African Leadership Magazine, distinguished awardees, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to be here again to be associated with the sterling work of the African Leadership Magazine and for the unique honor accorded me to present the much coveted Africa Peace and Security Leader of the Year award. The theme for this year's award, International Leadership, Rethinking Africa's Priorities, clearly resonates with the continent's aspirations for the Africa we want going forward. It calls for a break from the old, ineffectual, and tired development models that are responsible for Africa's slow progress. And it's a rethink that invariably applies to a remodeling of leadership to match up with the new priorities being demanded by the continent's development. I say so owing to the fact that the agenda on global sustainable development that must be applied by all countries shows that Africa is lacking behind. The argument is that, and there is consensus, that aid, which was regarded as a strong component in Africa's development, has lost relevance, with the role of multilateral system being questioned. The new African development model should therefore be one that emphasizes on its own regional and internal markets through the African Continental Free Trade Area. The current global uncertainties have in fact reinforced this argument and underpin the great opportunities which exist in the strengthening of the regional and internal markets, and how such regional and continental solutions will show up governments in addressing their national challenges. Over and beyond the economic arguments is the elephant in the room: democratic governance. Africa will need to reinvent its governance system with the empowering of its youth growing population. The youths in Africa's Development Framework Agenda 2063 is to let them be part of its design and implementation. This is where the Open Government Initiative and the Open Government Partnership should be harnessed and implemented with the ultimate objective of being truly inclusive. The way people identify with development policy is the extent to which they feel that their dignity is being upheld. And has been the argument, as has been the argument elsewhere, inclusivity means that public policies can be reviewed and governance systems can be questioned. Inclusivity is therefore an obsolete and essential component in rethinking development. Rethinking Africa's development and governance priorities also means rethinking justice systems to guarantee freedoms and basic human and political rights in a genuine and more predictable way. It requires deliberate building of institutions and respect of their mandates and decisions by political leadership. These are the bedrock for peace and security, which are inseparably linked to development. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this now brings me to this year's African Leadership, Peace and Security Leader of the Year awardee. Anyone who has followed the presidency and the illustrious post-presidency of our awardee will agree that this is a great choice by the African Leadership magazine. Nothing more poignant about his leadership, legendary, and the peace and security credentials than how he puts his interest of his people and that of the sub-region above his personal interests during the 2020 elections in Nigeria. As the incumbent president, with all the state security and other powers, he presided over the presidential elections in which he was candidate in an open and transparent manner. And even when he clearly had problems with the outcome of the polls, he still acceded to and respected the outcome of the elections, which was the popular will. In his inspirational words, he said, and I quote, "My ambition is not worth the blood of any Nigerian," end of quote. Those words could only come from a statesman par excellence and one whose commitment to the peace and security of his people undoubtedly supersedes everything else. Beyond Nigeria, the peace and security credentials of our illustrious awardee have been further burnished by his outstanding peace and security and political engagements across the continent, the latest of which was his adroit handling of the Malian situation. And now, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, under the Goodluck Jonathan Foundation is the newly well thought out and much needed West African Elders Forum. He calls it a homegrown, credible platform for former leaders and statesmen who will provide mediation and interlocutory role in addressing electoral and democratic conflict in the region. No doubt, peace and security are in the heart and the veins of this year's African Leadership Magazine Peace and Security Leader of the Year Award. Before I do the presentation, I believe that the excellent work that they have been doing to present Africa at its best and against perpetual dimness being presented by the other sides, Dr. Giami and his fantastic team deserves a loud round of applause. And now, ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for the Peace and Security Leader of the Year, President Goodluck Jonathan. Congratulations, Mr. President. Thank you. Thank you. And now, thank you. Gentlemen, for the Peace and Security Leader, here, President Goodluck. Congratulations, Mr. President. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hearty congratulations to you. And of course, His Excellency, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan. It was such a pleasure to begin this 9th African Leadership Persons of the Year ceremony with two such illustrious leaders, men who not only led their nations to increasing peace and prosperity, but then also led their nations to peaceful transfer of power. So significant to have both of you, Dr. Jonathan and Dr. Koroma, to help us to begin the program. Dr. Jonathan, did you want to offer any additional remarks?
I have to, concluding this, let me again appreciate the organizers of this program, most especially the chairman, Ken Giami, and of course you, the moderator. And let me thank my good friend President Koroma, for the kind of beautiful words mentioned about me. I'll totally commit myself to seeing that Nigeria, West Africa, we consolidate democracy and ensure peace, so that we will focus on the development of our children and our grandchildren. Thank you all.
And thank you as well. Congratulations. We want to, of course, continue. I know you're on the edge of your seats, and I also want to appreciate how well we've all adapted to this virtual environment. We love to come together and be together, and part of that is the networking that takes place. So I just wanted to appreciate that I see the networking continuing in the chat right now. And so people are taking the opportunity to exchange ideas, to exchange contact information, and let one another know exactly how we are all serving and in what ways we might be able to serve together. So please continue to do that as the day does continue. But without further ado, I do want to turn it back over to the publisher of African Leadership Magazine. Dr. Giami has our next set of awardees.
Thank you very much, Wendy. It's again very beautiful being here. And the very next set of awardees, I'll mention 5 names, and then end with a very special award of the year, the African of the Year. All of the awards are very significant because they cover one sector or the other, but we always reserve a general central award to one African that we believe made the most significant impact of the year as an African. And we're excited to have it in our midst. I'm going to talk about him briefly very soon. But before I call him up and he will give his remarks and receive the award, let me start by very quickly mentioning Her Excellency. Our next set of awards will quickly go to Her Excellency Greta Mitchell. She is our Climate Champion of the Year. We recognize her for the excellent work she's done and continue to do. We are inspired by her example, and we want to take this minute to give her a few minutes to lift her, to say a few words, and then we'll move on to the very next person quickly. So, Your Excellency, Dr. Mitchell. I think you're muted.
Mr. President, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, former Presidents Goodluck Jonathan and Dennis Koroma, the Dr. Ken Giami, Chairman and Publisher of the African Leadership Magazine. Let me first really thank the African Leadership Magazine for the excellent work it has been doing to highlight the positives of what is Africa against the always, presenting Africa as a continent of failure. But through this program, the best of achievements are being highlighted, and the best of leaders who have been driving transformation on the continent as well is being recognized. I was awarded this recognition on climate change. Just as an example, from March 2019 to January 2021, Mozambique has been fustigated by five cyclones. And cyclones which have not been only impacted on Mozambique, but on neighboring countries like Zimbabwe, Malawi, and Botswana. This has raised my consciousness of the impact of climate change on the continent, generally speaking, but specifically in this region of ours. Let me recall also that Idai was registered as the worst climate event ever happened on the Southern Hemisphere. And this upon countries which are considered to be amongst the poorest. That's why I take this recognition with humility and pride as well, to become a sort of a voice of Africans on the price we are paying for climate change, although we were not the maker of the changes which drastically have been happening on the planet. But more importantly, it is to raise the importance of countries developing strategies to mitigate the impact. We are not only victims, but we can come as examples of how we respond, and even we spearhead initiatives which, using clean energy and others, we are at the forefront of transformative response to climate change. And I would like here to emphasize my work with women, which is part of my life passion. And we are trying really to have women to respond in a very positive, dynamic, and connected way, as accepting that we are not victims. We are makers of our own life, of our own future. I want really to thank you very, very much this opportunity, and I take it as a responsibility, as it was mentioned, to do more. And yes, not as a person, but with the networks I've been working with, we will try to do even more. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, High Excellency, Mrs. Grachimacha. And the next receiver will be presenting a speech in a video. His Excellency, the President of Ghana, has sent a video. He is the African Political Leader of the Year, and he will be giving his acceptance and his speech right after, just about now. But this is the moment where we unveil our African of the Year. Our African of the Year is one African who has projected the strength, the community, the achievement, the resilience, that's everything African. Someone who has shown tremendous leadership on the global stage. Someone who is one African. We are truly proud of the work he's done. Our African of the Year is no other person than His Excellency, the Director General of the World Health Organization. His name has become we need to put it in the dictionary now. 2020 has made Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus a household name globally. The response to what has been the most challenging period in our recent history has been phenomenal. And we're so excited that it's an African who has led the charge. Dr. Tedros, we are truly proud of you as Africans, your brothers, your big brothers, your junior brothers. We look up to you. And we're very, very proud of the work you've done at the WHO, and we'll be willing to hear you. So I present to you His Excellency Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, the African of the Year 2020. Please put your hands together. You're free to unmute, and let's give him a round of applause. And then he'll be sharing the speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
To you, Your Excellency.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Asante sana. Thank you.
So may I call on His Excellency Dr. Tedros now? I know he's got his award with him to present us his award. Can we put where the photographer gets a grab? Please put your hands again together for him as he presents. That's our African of the Year. Please put your hands again together for Dr. Tedros. Thank you very much. On that note, may I call on Dr. Tedros to share his remarks with us, and then I'll hand over to Juan.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Ken. Your Excellency, President Nana Akufo-Addo, President of Ghana, Your Excellency, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, former President of Nigeria, thank you so much. I enjoyed every bit of your speech, and I know you're a man of peace, and what you said and the prize you got, I think is well deserved. I'm proud of you as always, sir, and congratulations. And Your Excellency, Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma, former President of Sierra Leone, Your Excellency Graça Machel, Honorable Senator Mankoba Kumalo, Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry of the Kingdom of Eswatini, Honorable Samuel Tue, Minister of Finance and Economic Development of Liberia, and my good friend, Dr. John Kengasong, Director General of Africa CDC, Dr. Ken Giami, Chairman and Publisher, African Leadership Magazine, distinguished guests, my dear brothers and sisters. As a proud son of Africa, I'm deeply humbled to accept this award. I express my thanks to African Leadership Magazine and its readers for their support. I would also like to acknowledge and thank last year's winner, Dr. Adesina, my good friend, the President of the African Development Bank, and thank you for your kind words of congratulations, my brother. I do not accept this award only on my own behalf, but on behalf of my colleagues at WHO, who work every day, sometimes in difficult and dangerous situations, to protect and promote the health of Africa's people and the world's. Last year alone, we lost 3 of our colleagues in the line of duty. But there has never been more important than in the past year. The COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted many of Africa's strengths and vulnerabilities. When COVID-19 first emerged more than a year ago, we were deeply concerned about its potential impact in Africa and other regions with weaker health systems. Regional solidarity has been a vital part of the response, and I would like to acknowledge the leadership of President Ramaphosa and Moussa Faki in developing the continental strategy against COVID-19 in Africa, and for bringing together a coalition of political and business leaders. And Africa started its response as early as possible, when it only had few cases. So far, more than 3.8 million cases have been reported from African Union countries, and we have lost more than 100,000 of our brothers and sisters. We know that the real numbers are almost certainly higher, but we also know that our continent's relatively young population means Africa has not seen the same scale of severe disease and deaths as other regions with older populations. Africa's long experience in applying public health measures to respond to infectious disease outbreaks has also helped. Since the beginning of the pandemic, WHO has been working day and night to ensure equitable access to vaccines, diagnostics, and therapeutics for COVID-19. Last January, only 2 countries in Africa had PCR testing capacity for COVID-19. By the end of February last year, we expanded that to 32 countries and to all countries by mid-June. Since then, we have shipped millions of test kits to our continent, tons of personal protective equipment, oxygen concentrators, dexamethasone, and other essential supplies. The approval of safe and effective vaccines is now giving us all hope of bringing the pandemic under control. So far, more than 200 million doses of vaccine have been administered, but half of those doses are in just 2 countries, and more than 80% are in 10 countries. WHO and our partners are working urgently to ensure vaccines are distributed to all countries as quickly as possible. This week, Ghana became the first country outside India to receive vaccines for COVID-19 through the COVAX facility. And just a few hours ago, more doses arrived in Côte d'Ivoire, and we expect more African countries to receive doses next week and in the coming weeks until all countries start in the next 40 days. Vaccines are a powerful tool, but we must remember they're not the only tool. Vaccines complement, but do not replace the other public health measures that countries in Africa have used to successfully prevent or control widespread transmission. Even as we roll out vaccines, testing, contact tracing, isolation, supported quarantine, and quality care remain important. And so do individual measures like physical distancing, avoiding crowds, hand hygiene, mask, and ventilation. Vaccines will help to bring the pandemic under control, but we will still be left with many of the same challenges we had before. There is no vaccine for poverty, hunger, inequality, climate change, child marriage, or many of the other problems our brothers and sisters face on a daily basis. The pandemic has highlighted that health is central to Africa's future. A runner does not win races to become fast. She becomes fast to win races. In the same way, health is not a product of strong and prosperous nations. It is the means. A healthy population is a productive, innovative, and resilient population. And the best way to protect and promote health of a population is to make sure all its people can access the health services they need, where and when they need them, without facing financial hardship. That's why WHO's top priority remains universal health coverage, built on strong primary health care. I know many of you know the late Meles Zenawi, Prime Minister of Ethiopia, who was my boss and a friend, who was a strong advocate for Pan-Africanism. He was a visionary leader and a leader I admired in so many ways. He taught me to focus on what really matters. I remain more convinced than ever that to build the healthier, safer, fairer, more prosperous, and more sustainable Africa we all want, health must be seen not as a cost to be contained, but as an investment to be nurtured, an investment that delivers a rich reward. Our continent is the birthplace of humanity, but it will also play a vital part in the future of humanity. Our continent is home to some of the richest resources on earth. I don't mean the resources buried underground. I mean the ones above ground, our brothers and sisters. They are the future of our great continent, and they must be the focus of our investments now. And I fully agree with President Bai Koroma when he said we should invest in our young ones. They are the future. And to quote His Excellency Paul Kagame, Africa's story has been written by others. We need to own our own problems and solutions and write our story. End of quote. Africa has made me who I am, and very proud to be African. And I hope in some small way to repay that debt. I believe that I have a debt. Thank you so much again for this great honor. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Gebreyesus. We can't tell you how much we are humbled by your leadership, your quest to not only ensure that Africa remains very healthy, but also for what you're doing for the entire world. We are eternally grateful, and for the remarks that you've given us to remind us that Africa is in fact the birthplace of all civilization, and of course deserves to receive all of the benefits that are available at this particular time in civilization. So thank you so very much, and congratulations on your award.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nwande. I'm very nice to meet you.
Yes, you as well. Thank you. We are going to continue this program. I have to tell you, I'm just taking deep breaths whenever I'm listening to the speakers, and I always have to take copious notes. I almost forget that I'm supposed to be hosting the program as well, because there's so much that's being shared here that is rich and vital, and I only wish that all of the world could really hear what we are having the opportunity to hear today. But I do want us to continue with the honors that are before us, and our next honoree and the person that we're going to get to hear from is His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic of Ghana. He's going to present to us via video, but before we share that, we of course want to remember and recognize who His Excellency is. He was just, of course, sworn into office for another term on January 7th of this particular year. And he has a long lifetime of service to the nation. He has been an attorney in Ghana with very important constitutional cases that protect the independence of the judiciary branch, also protect the integrity of the state-owned media. Ghana, of course, being led in a long-time commitment to Pan-Africanism, welcoming in terms of not only its business climate, but also its long-time commitment to really reclaiming all of the peoples of African descent who have been dispersed throughout the world. And so today we're going to get a chance to hear some remarks from His Excellency on the subject of international leadership, rethinking youth. Let's take a look at that video.
I thank Ambassador Joe Beasley, Dr. Giami, the board and management of the African Leadership Magazine UK, and indeed all the thousands and thousands of fellow Africans who deemed me worthy enough to vote for me as African Political Leader of the Year 2020. It is an honor I did not seek, but one which I accept in all humility. This award scheme, currently in its 9th edition, has acquired a formidable reputation, and I'm grateful to all of you for making me a part of this event. I also extend hearty congratulations to all other award winners. Intentional leadership, rethinking youth development priorities in Africa, the topic I've been asked to speak on, brings into sharp focus the hopes, aims, and objectives of a continent that currently has the largest generation of young people in history. I place great hope in their capacity to shape the future of Africa and make Africa the lion that it was meant to be. Africa has to have a strategy to reap the demographic dividend that a youthful population offers. The Asian tigers, Japan, Malaysia, Singapore, and South Korea are where they are today because of the systematic investments they made in the development of their human capital. Their period of boom and growth happened when their populations shifted from ones of many dependents to ones dominated by working age groups. And this is where Africa is today. We should not fail to realize that we are at the brink of a breakthrough. Having said that, I must obviously add that the population opportunity will not automatically guarantee us a future of growth and prosperity. Demographic dividends do not come automatically. They have to be earned. To realize the dividend, we must invest in the empowerment, education, and employment of our young people. With over 40% of our working population between the ages of 15 and 25, Africa is the youngest continent in the world. This represents a staggering amount of human capital. And according to the African Economic Outlook, this number is set to double by 2045. Yet too many of them are trapped in poverty, with few opportunities to learn or to earn a decent living. According to the World Bank, youth account for 60% of all African unemployed. For those that manage to find work, they do not do so in a place that pays a good wage or develops their skills or provides a measure of job security. The Brookings Institute states that more than 70% of the youth in the Republic of Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, Ghana, Malawi, Mali, Rwanda, Senegal, and Uganda are either self-employed or contributing to family work. No one needs to tell us that mass unemployment in Africa, especially amongst her youth, is a ticking time bomb. The so-called Arab Spring showed clearly the lack of employment opportunities can undermine social cohesion and political stability. Between 10 to 12 million youths joining the labor market every year, Africa has to pay maximum attention to job creation. Young people are willing to risk everything to improve their circumstances. We have seen in recent times high numbers of them taking harrowing risks around the Sahara Desert and the Mediterranean, trying to reach the mirage of a better life in Europe. What this means is that if we provide them the right environment in Africa, they will make our continent great. If these youth are encouraged to spend their considerable energies at home, Africa could experience huge economic gains. There are self-evident intentional steps that can help African countries achieve the demographic dividend. Increasing investment in young people is key. This includes promoting quality education that prepares them for a future of opportunities. A diversity of training will be needed, from quality primary and secondary schools to technical and vocational training schools, to teacher training colleges, to research-intensive universities. For young people to be able to exploit the economic opportunities that abound in Africa, they must have the skills and training necessary to take advantage of them. In doing this, Africa must fashion an education policy that is also gender sensitive, for women are a clear majority of the African population. The 21st century is the century of science and technology. The mastery of digital technology by African youth must be the compelling challenge for them, if indeed they are to survive in this competitive technological age. They have to survive. The Costa Rican example should serve as an inspiration for us in Africa. Costa Rica moved from being a banana exporting country to a net exporter of microprocessor chips that earns them billions of dollars, in contrast to the few $1 million from the export of bananas. Technology is what helps us to make the world truly a global village and enables once poor people to become prosperous and scale up the value of their economic activities. There is a critical need to involve young people in decisions that affect them. We cannot talk about sustainable development without the active involvement of youth. Former United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon argues that when we give young people decent jobs, political weight, negotiating muscle, and real influence in our world, they will create a brighter future. Hence, Africa cannot talk about rethinking youth development priorities in Africa without talking about the welfare and well-being of young people. It is important that Africa takes these ideas forward to harness the value of a youthful population, holding human rights, gender equality, development of human capital, and dignity at the center of all our investments. Only by providing opportunities that open up the future to all young people do we create stronger prospects. My speech, Chairperson, has many of the makings of a dream, but it is a dream that is grounded in reality. I do not accept that Africa has a DNA that dooms us to failure. Africans can, like all the other peoples that have succeeded, make life meaningful and worth living for themselves. Africans can and must do it themselves. We cannot expect others to do it for us. We can and must build Africa on a strong foundation of the ability, creativity, and industry of her citizens. An Africa that exemplifies the true spirit of her people, working towards a common goal of a brighter future. There is an abundance of dynamic entrepreneurial talent on our continent, struggling to express itself and take advantage of all these conditions for success. We have to encourage this expression with full force and ensure that we can stand on our own feet and make it impossible for the systematic looting and plundering of our human and material resources by outsiders that have characterized much of our history to continue. This is the significance of the concept of Ghana beyond aid, indeed, of Africa beyond aid. Once again, I thank you sincerely for the award and for your kind attention. May God bless Mother Africa and us all.
And so we offer our applause to the President of Ghana, His Excellency, of course, Mr. President Addo, giving us those very, very welcome remarks and the opportunity to really explore what it means to invest in young people, what it means to have sensitivity to the rights of women and the contributions of women. And of course, I was very taken by his example of Costa Rica given there as well. Of course, since 1948, with only a small law enforcement agency and no standing army, being able to invest in other ways and also not engaging in civil war while many of its neighbors have, and being able to invest instead in education and healthcare for its people. So maybe we can all look at examples where we can see things like that going forward. Thank you so much again for being with us for this 9th African Leadership Persons of the Year Award. I'm Nwandi Lawson, the Chief Cultivation Officer for the Virtues Collective here in Atlanta, Georgia. And we want to, at this point, have an opportunity to have a group photo. And so if we could please ask for all who have received their awards so far, if you could please hold those up one more time so that our photographer can capture the awardees at this point. Thank you so very much, and congratulations to all of you. It's really your work that causes the African Leadership Magazine Group to recognize you in this way. Just a small pause in the work that you're doing and an opportunity for all of us in the world to say thank you so very much for all that you have done and all that you're continuing to do in support of the continent of Africa. And really, that's the support of the world. I'm always reminded and was very much reminded when Dr. Tedros was telling us about the civilization building power of Africa. The particular community in which I grew up in here in the United States, every week they would give what's called a historical tribute. And at the beginning of the historical tribute, it would always be said, because African history is world history and world history is African history. So I'm very much reminded of that as I listen to the leaders speaking today. We want to continue our program now with a video documentary. This is about the Niger Delta University, and we'll have an opportunity to learn a little bit more about this illustrious institution.
From Africa's largest wetlands, the Niger Delta, and one of Nigeria's leading oil-producing states, Bayelsa, comes an epitome of learning and industry alignment, the Niger Delta University. Tucked in the middle of Wilberforce Island, a green paradise that exudes more beauty than the soul can absorb, the university provides a frame of reference in academic excellence, ingenuity, entrepreneurship, character, and learning. From faltering steps just a few years ago, today the university boasts of the state-of-the-art facilities, 71 fully accredited programs, quality lecturers, a serene learning environment, and a motivated workforce. The university boasts of a range of disciplines and some of the country's best and modern state-of-the-art facilities to aid learning. Her College of Health Sciences recently received an equipment upgrade to meet global best practices and international standards. The school's quality of teaching was manifest during her recent convocation ceremony, when 91 students graduated with a first-class degree, and its students emerging best graduating students from the Nigerian Law School with first class. The university is also the first in Nigeria to tackle headlong student victimizations in Nigerian universities, with the introduction of what is now known as conference marking. NDU has also become a darling of university regulators in Nigeria, as it has adopted a unique strategy that makes program accreditation easier by adopting stringent internal measures to certify any program, has ramped up the number of accredited programs to a record 71 for a university that is just 2 decades old. The university is also promoting out-of-the-box thinking towards increasing her internally generated revenue. The school has her water factory, bakery, paint-making factory, among others. These ventures have also helped promote entrepreneurship for the students who are increasingly embracing new experiences towards jobs and wealth creation. Interestingly, these achievements have been made under 3 years, pointing to quality and purposeful leadership of the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Samuel Gwan Adomiokomo. Staff and students are united in their admiration of the Vice-Chancellor, who they have described in colourful words. However, Professor Adomiokomo is quick to attribute his success to the untiring efforts of the staff, students, and governing council of the university. He also reserves impressive accolades for the state government for their sustained support. A stickler for excellence and due process, the Vice-Chancellor has introduced a slogan that has become common among the staff. Don't worry, just do the right thing. We look to the future as a society witnessing the dawn of a new era in public university administration as the Niger Delta University emerges a bastion of educational excellence, innovation, and entrepreneurship.
And so with that, we're not only ready to get up and dance, but we also got that wonderful expression of how the youth are actually being developed through this particular institution of higher learning. I wanted to let our audience know that Dr. Tedros regrets that he had to go at the moment. He, of course, has so many duties that he has to take care of at the World Health Organization. And we thank you so much, Dr. Tedros, for giving us your time. I understand that you have another engagement to get to, and I am just astounded that you could provide any time today. So thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much indeed. I wish I could be with you, but I have that regular scheduled presser, so I will be on another window doing my mambo jumbo. Thank you so much.
See you on the news.
You're from communications, so you understand.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. We are, of course, so richly blessed today to have so many wonderful leaders from the African continent who are giving up of their time. And we know that so many of you do have other pressing concerns and matters. And the fact that you're with us today, we know that is truly a benefit for us. We have another set of awards that we want to recognize at this time. And I'm going to turn it back over to our publisher of African Leadership Magazine. Dr. Giami will present the next set of awards.
Thank you again, Wendy. It's again a beautiful experience. And we'll run quickly to our list. The first on my list here would be, we just watched the video on the Niger Delta University. I'm going to call on Professor Samuel Edumie-Kumo. Forgive me if I didn't pronounce it correctly. Samuel Edumie-Kumo. Please put your hands together for Professor Samuel as he showcases his certificate as Africa's leading educationist and also share a 1-minute remark. After which I'll call on Dr. Barry. So Professor Samuel.
Yes, thank you very much. Your Excellencies, current serving presidents and past presidents, incidentally, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, our former president, issue of establishing Niger Delta University was discussed at the Executive Council, and the name was also suggested by our former president. It is from the state, Bayelsa State, Nigeria. And we're very happy that today you are recognizing the young man who suggested Niger Delta University, who later became the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and now is even here with me as one of a very wonderful recipient of and his own boy is now recognized as the African Educationist of the Year. In fact, it's a wonderful thing. Let me thank God for that. And Dr. Giami, thank you very much for the opportunity given to us. And for us in Niger Delta University, we are determined to see that the youths are properly educated and given the right knowledge and what they should be doing in the society. And that's why today, what we do is to ensure that we blend entrepreneurship together with academics. And that's what we are doing here. As a policy, there is nobody that will graduate from Niger Delta University without a skill. We introduced that in 2018, and today the students are very happy about it. They all graduate with one skill or the other. The factories you have just seen helping our students as well. They go there, they do jobs, and they also learn one skill or the other. And that's the way forward. And you saw in our health College of Health Sciences, the facilities we have acquired. We believe that Africa can do it. That's the slogan. I do not believe it. They always talking about the box. I always say that we should think outside the box. In fact, destroy the box so that we handle the things the way it ought to be. Because when we say we have a box, that will not enable us to think very well. If we do not have a box and we have to think to help ourselves, we will do better than this. And for us in Niger Delta University, we want to chart that course so that every student graduating from a university is properly trained. For example, we just celebrated one of our students who made a first class in law, went to the Nigerian law school and came out one of the best. Still maintain that first class because we have introduced a very wonderful quality assurance program where we ensure that not one individual grades a student's script, so that the issue of victimization is over. And all these ones we hear people are saying through the social media, sex for marks and all that is not found in Niger Delta University. We have been able to curtail all that. And so Niger Delta University is one of the best schools in Africa we have, that I would say that every African should have a certificate from. Dr. Giami, you can do another degree here. Yes, for us, and that's what we are doing now. And today, the placements requirement is so high. For example, we just conducted for about 11,000 students placing one, seeking for one placement or the other in our university. And I want to say that our staff, we have a wonderful. In fact, when we introduced the only university in the whole of West Africa that has even a nursing program as a faculty. And I can say that the only professor of nursing in the whole of West Africa, the first professor, was employed by Niger Delta University. And so if you talk about quality of staff, we have. So our school is second to none. Thank you very much for this recognition, African Leadership Magazine. And I want to tell us that ND will be very happy to receive it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. I didn't know Prof was a marketer. He really marketed the university. And I'm very sure His Excellency, the former president, is truly proud of you. I saw him beaming with smiles as you were speaking. And we are happy that he's here to see what he bet grow to become what it is today. I use this opportunity to call on Dr. Barry Benoit of Contact Group while Dr. Tenny Additional prepares. So may I call on Dr. Barry Benoit quickly to present this award and give a few remarks. Barry Benoit, please. You're muted, please.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Giami, for inviting me to this very illustrious and group of people who have been given awards by your publication and your magazine. I wish to greet His Excellency, my former president, or my president, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana, President Ernest Korama, Dr. Tedros. I thank you very much for putting me in such illustrious company, and it's very, very nice to be here. As just a few quick words on this, which I will just tell you a little story about myself. After having spent 45 years in Africa and Nigeria, my adopted country, it really is an honor and a privilege to be here amongst such distinguished people. The little story I want to tell starts with how I got involved with anti-human trafficking many years ago. And I was then talking to the First Lady, Dr. Patience Goodluck Jonathan, and she said to me, Benoit, I don't understand. All these girls we bring back from Europe and other places, they come back and then they go right back. That's what they want to go back and do. And how do we keep them here? And this got me thinking. And the more I thought about it, the clearer the answer, was glaringly obvious to me. And it was that, look, we have to create jobs. We have to create enterprise for people, Nigerians in particular, Africans in general. are extremely enterprising, but they don't know where to begin, how to begin, what to do. So I put together all my various enterprises, my various companies, everything that we had. And I said, look, let's come up with something which addresses all these problems. And we were able to look at not only human trafficking, we were able to look at climate change, we were able to look at sustainable development, we were able to look at job creation, we were able to look at all these things. And this was all through integrating into our agriculture system what we call becoming climate smart agriculture or digital agriculture. The interest, not every kid wants to go and become a farmer or carry a shovel and a hoe, but you know, when you can offer them other careers such as becoming drone captains or technology data accumulators, or doing things like this, or getting involved in the distribution chain, marketing, all of a sudden it becomes very interesting for a large group of youngsters. And this is what we decided to do. We also realized, I realized, that it's not enough to just keep on looking at agriculture with the way we have been doing traditionally, which is the dumping of chemicals and more chemicals without thinking about what's happening to the land, without analyzing the soil, without looking at what is best for that particular area, not looking at the weather requirements, not looking at the water requirements, not looking at anything. So we were able to come up with homegrown solutions, which now today turn out to be 60% more cost effective. They are cheaper. We're getting better yields. We have been using them from as far as deserts in Qatar. We have been using them in vineyards in Australia, in tea gardens, tea plantations in India and Sri Lanka, in Burundi, in Nigeria. We're using them extensively, in Ghana. I mean, everywhere that we're going. And agencies such as USAID, DFID, the German GIZ, I think, all of them. We've been supporting hundreds of thousands of farmers and doing a fantastic job. What we now need is support from the group of people like who are in your group there to understand the relevance of what we are trying to do, bring about this change in farming practices, in health, cut out the carcinogenic components that are there in all our foods, reduce the amount of money we need to spend, reduce the amount of alpha toxin that we are releasing into the air, the greenhouse gas syndromes that we are creating everywhere. We need to be able to do this, and to do this cheaply, effectively, and healthily is really what our goal is. So what we want to achieve is where we can employ thousands and thousands of young people who want to come to farms or be involved in this chain in some way. We want to be able to increase the yield that we're talking about, and we want to be able to create a healthy generation of youngsters. So I really look forward to getting help and getting support from organizations such as yours. And I'm truly grateful for having me here and giving me this opportunity. So I thank you for that, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Barry Benoit. Dr. Barry is being recognized for innovative agricultural solutions across Nigeria and is currently expanding to other African countries through the Green Feeds. Please put your hands together for him. He's lifting his awards now. Thank you. Congratulations for your contributions to agriculture and sustainable development. Thank you so much. The next person, Dr. Teni Adesanya, while Mr. Kie from Ghana prepares. Dr. Teni. We'll be happy if you can keep your speeches very briefly so we can move on quickly. Thank you, Dr. Teni Adesanya.
Thank you, Dr. Giami, the chairman for African Leadership Magazine. I want to, first of all, acknowledge His Excellency, my former president, Goodluck Jonathan. Thank you, sir, for giving us the opportunity, we youth in the country, to be able to rise to where we are. It was during your tenure that a lot of things changed in Nigeria, and then people like us was able to start businesses that are now floating and have employed a lot of people today. I also want to appreciate the magazine for finding me being the outstanding CEO in Africa. I am the chairman for Oxford International Group here in Nigeria. We have businesses in almost all the sectors in Nigeria. We have businesses in agriculture. We have businesses in financial services. We have businesses in real estate, to mention almost all the sectors in Nigeria. We started our journey, and what we want to achieve is to see how our youth in Nigeria can actually be employed. For 5 years now, being on the race, we've been able to pull over 10,000 people into employment. We've been able to also succeed in making sure that most of the people that were pulled into employment are also generating businesses and subsidiaries that are also employing other people. It has been a good thing for 5 years. I've been involved in so many outstanding achievements for the past 5 years here in Nigeria. It's also interesting to know that we've launched our business, not just limited to Nigeria. We are presently in Rwanda now, and then we're also in the Republic of Benin. And we're also looking at about 10 African countries before the close of the year. What we're targeting is to see how we can actually bring unemployment to its knees in Africa. And it has also, part of our goal is to also make sure that we help people that want to go to school to be able to at least cushion some of their effects of payment of school fees and all of that. We've done over 14,000 from January 2020 to date. We've been able to pay for people to go to school and all that. So I want to thank the leadership for the opportunity, recognizing what we're doing here in Nigeria. So many times when I come on a platform like this and then we are being recognized, it gives me opportunity to know that, yeah, someone is actually watching us, and then we're actually trying to, what we're doing is being recognized by people like African Leadership Award. We have many of us here in Nigeria that are doing wonderful things like this that people did not recognize. So I'm so happy to be part of this today, being given this award. And I want to tell you, all of you that are watching me now, that it's an opportunity for me to do more. I will not relent until almost all the youth in Africa are duly employed, not just employed, being able to empower others as they are empowered. So thank you very much, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll skip some people from speaking. Dr. Kwame, our energy leader, he's a businessman. Dr. Kwame Kie, who runs one of the biggest energy concerns and very responsible, sustainable energy. He has said he's standing on the existing protocol and he would just be presenting his award. So I call on Dr. Kwame Kie to lift this award. Please, can we do him the honors to put our hands together for him? At least he's done us the service. It's more action than words. Congratulations for the work you do. Thank you very much. And I call on General Vincent Nundiwe, after which the Minister of Finance of Liberia and the Minister of Commerce of Eswatini will be next. I call on General Vincent Nundiwe, who is being recognized for his contributions to peace and security as the head of the Malawi Defense Forces. I'm happy that our peace and security leader is here. His Excellency, Dr. Jonathan, is watching you. And I'm sure you go back to continue to do well for the good work you're doing. Thank you so much, General. I don't know. Okay, thank you. The General also wouldn't want to say something. If I'm wrong, let me know. All right, then very quickly, may I call on, now the ministers will have to say something. At least we're correct. Okay, General, have a minute, please. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. First of all, let me recognize His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, President of Ghana, His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, and His Excellency Ernest Roma, former president of Sierra Leone, and all my brothers and sisters on the forum here. In the interest of time, let me take this opportunity to thank the chairperson, Dr. Kenny, for organizing this forum and recognizing the importance of doing good work, good service to the continent. And me, I'm honored because I made my contribution during a very challenging time. And I know that I should thank His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan for the winner, because I'm the co-winner. But the lessons learned from this is that in Africa, the military is used as a tool for suppression. This is what we should avoid. We as commanders of defense forces, we must be aware of the constitutional rights of the people. We are there to uphold the constitutional order. And the constitutional order is that we must make sure that there's no one infringing the rights of the people who are there to express themselves on something which is genuine. So in Malawi, for example, there was a presidential election which was challenged, and it is at that particular time that I was actually commander to taking over the Malawi Defense Force to be able to uphold the constitution. I had to go through a lot of pressure from the politicians. Normally, it is the issue of doing things beyond what we are not supposed to do, like shooting at the population, which we should avoid as military people. We are actually working for the people. So it is the people that give us the tax that we enjoy. So the problem which we have as commanders is that we would like to protect our position and do the interest of the politicians who appointed us. The politicians will appoint us, but what we should do is serve the people. We need to serve the people, not to serve the interest of the politicians. The politicians promise the people, but when things have gone wrong, they have not done their promises, then they start using the military to suppress the dissent. Instead of doing it politically, they want to use violence against their own people that actually put them into the office. I am happy that we have had good examples of the former president of Nigeria, Jonathan Goodluck, as a good example of what leadership is supposed to be. He did his one term, but after the elections, he left. And that's, I do commend that one. And thank God we had such people in the continent that can be able to follow the dictates of the law of the land. With those few words, let me take this opportunity to thank every one of you here, that you are sons and daughters of the continent who have contributed wonderfully to the welfare of the people of the continent. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, General Vincent. General Vincent was specifically picked for this award because he defied political order at a time Malawi was in potential crisis, and by that simple gesture, saved thousands of lives. We want to commend the service to not just to Malawi, but indeed you have become an example to military leaders all around Africa. May I now call on the Honorable Minister for Finance of the Republic of Liberia, Honorable Samuel D. Tuer. And you, can we hear from you? I will encourage you to stay within 1 minute. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me recognize the excellencies in the meeting. The President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, past President of Nigeria, Dr. Jonathan Goodluck, and other excellencies. I am speaking on behalf of Honorable Samuel D. Tuer, Minister of Finance of the Republic of Liberia, who would have really loved to be here to receive this award, which is very precious to us as a country. Unfortunately, he could not make the meeting because he had to escort the president His Excellency Dr. George Weah on his national tour of the country and currently is in an area where internet is challenged. But he's asked me to extend his gratitude on behalf of the government and people of Liberia to you, the African Leadership Magazine organizers, and to other stakeholders of this very noble magazine. In his remarks to me, he encouraged me to extend to you that it is usually a very challenging, very difficult task for ministers of finance in Africa and other parts of the world to be able to work and achieve results in the context of what we've been faced with in Liberia over the last years, especially where we've had both domestic and international shocks on our macroeconomic space. Over the last period, it is worth to note that it has never been an easy thing to get the kind of result we as a country have been able to acquire. That result has come with passion, dedication, commitment, and love for country to be able to work with the team of people across the government, from the Ministry of Finance and other ministries and agencies, to be able to continue to support His Excellency Dr. George Weah's objective goals for the people of Liberia. It is interesting to note that Liberia has had many shocks just before this government came in. We had the Ebola crisis, just like other countries in the region, which impacted our macroeconomic issues, which also affected over the period how our enterprises and foreign direct companies was negatively impacted in terms of job creation and sustaining their growth, support to the growth of the economy. He also highlighted a conversation around where we have all now faced with the challenge of COVID, which is not only health, but also economic in nature. So it is important that in the period where we are having very difficult times, in the period of COVID, as a country that have been relying on donor support for many years, to still be able to continue to support the people of Liberia and provide support to the government and keep active, very active operations across social services and carry on infrastructure development at the same time during these difficult times, worth noting. And we believe that it was upon some of these very progress that the global community, including the African Leadership Magazine, recognized the opportunity, recognized these very hard works of what is being done to impact the people of Liberia and the economy of Liberia. Lastly,
thank you.
Lastly, we would like to dedicate the award that has been given in recognition of the work of our Minister of Finance, Honorable Samuel D. Twe, Jr., who is also wanting to dedicate this award to His Excellency Dr. George Weah and the government and people of Liberia, and also to all of those who have worked along with him to be able to achieve this recognition. Again, on behalf of Minister Twe, I would like to thank you, the organizers, for this recognition and for this award. I am Augustus Flomo. I am the Deputy Minister for Economic Management, representing the Minister of Finance and Development Planning. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Minister. Congratulations to Liberia. We are with you. We're looking forward to better stories in the days ahead as you manage the challenges every country at the moment is faced with. Now, I'll call on the Honorable Minister for comments, but while doing that, may I call on Dr. John of the Africa CDC will be next. Dr. John Keng-Gong-Song. I hope I got it right. Dr. John is being the head of Africa CDC. He'll be next. But may I call on Senator Mankoba Kumalu, Minister for Commerce, Trade and Investment of the Kingdom of Eswatini. Let me say a quick word. Please, you need to visit Eswatini. Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ken, and may I recognize His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, President of Ghana, and His Excellency Jonathan, former President of Nigeria, and His Excellency Goroma, former President of Sierra Leone, and all protocol observed. I'll stick to the 1 minute. Eswatini is a small country in the southern hemisphere of Africa, a population of 1.2 million people. But we are very, very happy to receive this award, and we take it with all the humility it deserves. We are very, very grateful that the advent of the AFCFTA provides a tremendous opportunity for countries within Africa to trade amongst themselves. Eswatini is currently ranked at number 9 in Africa in terms of value of exports. And for a small country, it's a big feat, and it is premised on our strategy. Our strategy is to be an export-driven economy that is driven by the private sector. We have seen COVID-19 come, but we have also come up with a post-COVID-19 economic recovery plan, which I am leading, and that has seen the economy of Eswatini suffer a little bit, but the strategy that we've put in place has allowed us to see new opportunities, and we are glad to be hosting one of the e-commerce platforms for the AFCFTA, the AE Trade Group, and we think the future after COVID-19 will be bright for Eswatini. But with those few words, we are really grateful to be part of this auspicious occasion and to be part of this eminent group of leaders, and we are grateful for the award. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I think that was fantastic. I'll put our hands together. He kept 1 minute. Thank you very much. And I'll be calling on the next set of people. Dr. John is not up yet. He's been here. Obviously, he's attending to something. So as soon as he joins us, we'll recognize him. But may I very quickly add that 3 of our honorees today are meant to receive the Special Congressional Commendation from the Georgia Legislative Black Caucus, who are fully, in fact, they are in session now debating one of the most COVID-related bill, whose absence, if you're not there, I just got a message from them that if you're not here defending this bill, you may lose the next election. But they've assured Honorable Mankoba Kumalu that in the next 1 week, his proclamation was sent to him, congressional commendation, and Dr. Kwame Kie and Dr. Tenny, and I've got one more name here, who have all been penciled down, and their awards will be shared. Mr. Edapale, Honorable Kumalu, Honorable Dr. Kwame Kie, and so please forgive us, and let's as politicians, they need to live by certain, I'm not a politician, but I believe that those of you who are politicians understand when you must be in the sitting, and especially when it's COVID relief related. On that note, I call on Mr. Edapale, who is also receiving an award, to quickly have 1 minute to share his thoughts with us and showcase his certificate. For those of you who got only certificate, your awards are on your way. Logistics globally, we have to distribute this thing all the way from the UK, all over the world. If you have not received your own glass trophy, present the certificate and be rest assured in the coming days you should get it. So, Mr. Edapale, can we put our hands together for Mr. Edapale? Yes, we can see you. I have a beautiful smile. We met last in London, January last year. Who knew? You want to say a few words? 1 minute? Okay. Edapale said it's okay. Thank you very much for your consideration. And may I also invite Dr. John here? Okay. May I now move to a female Amazon, someone we're truly, truly very proud of.
Hello, I'm here.
Oh, thank you. Open our hands together again for Dr. John of the Africa CDC. He's the man working with Dr. Tedros Dr. Tedros at the global level, and he has been the man on the African scene, making sure that we are all safe. Congratulations for the great work you've done, and please accept our award for your interventions in being a COVID champion. Please put your hands together for him, and while we call on him to present and then say a few words. Thank you very much. I put your hands together as he shows this is the award. Congratulations. And then you have a few minutes. Well, yes, please permit me to give you more than 1 minute to just share his few thoughts with us. Thank you.
And first of all, thank you so much and congratulations also to the African Leadership Magazine for your extraordinary leadership and innovation. This is a very proud moment for the continent of Africa, and because of your leadership and recognition. I think there's nothing that is as valuable as recognition of the work that the sons and daughters of the continent are doing. And you deserve an award yourself for the leadership and innovation that you are exercising. Let me just say that the COVID-19 pandemic has taught us a couple of lessons, early lessons in year one, that we are more vulnerable than we thought, that we are more connected than we thought, that inequities are more profound than we thought. But very importantly, that public health is health security, and that public health is economic security, no doubt about that. Ladies and gentlemen, as Dr. Tedros mentioned, 3.8 million Africans have been infected with about 100,000 deaths. That's a lot of deaths. My greatest concern as the head of the CDC is that we may begin to normalize deaths, and it will be a tragedy that we begin to say that, well, Africa has been least affected with 100,000 deaths compared to in excess of 2.5 million in the world. That shouldn't happen. They are loved ones. They are Africans. They are brothers and sisters, mothers, uncles, etc. Unfortunately, just speaking about inequality and inequities, of the 219 million doses of vaccines, very few have been immunized in Africa. So I think we are just beginning to applaud planes arriving in Accra, Ghana with 600,000 doses of vaccines for a country that is about 40 million. We appreciate that, but we say that this is not the equity and timely access that we all committed ourselves to when this pandemic hit the world 1 year ago. We all agree that global solidarity and global cooperation is so important. However, just because I don't have time, let me just conclude by saying that there are 4 things that we must do as a continent to move forward and prepare for next time so that this doesn't happen to us. First of all, we must embrace a new public health order that has 4 pillars. One is that we must look back into our ability to manufacture vaccines, diagnostics, and therapeutics on the continent. You guarantee our health security, also create jobs, and then bring back the technology transfer. Second is we must invest in our own public health agencies and trust in them. At this point, I truly want to appreciate the extraordinary leadership of our continent, including our head of states. I've had the great honor and chance of briefing them about 13 times, and they turn to their own CDC for public health advice and guidance. That is remarkable. In my 30 years career in public health, I've not seen that kind of level of leadership from our continent. Thirdly, we must deliberately engage in our public health workforce development and develop what we call the frontline fighters for diseases for the continent. We currently need 6,000 frontline disease detectives. We only have about 1,900 on a continent of 1.2 billion. We have to change that. And lastly, we have to engage with the private sector to solve our public health challenges. We will be living with pandemics. We'll solve this pandemic, but we'll have other pandemics. So the private sector engagement is so important. Let me just conclude then by saying that we cannot mortgage our health security to external forces, to partners outside of the continent, and ensure that elections that happen in other capital cities do not affect our health security on the continent. I thank you for the opportunity, and I dedicate this award to the staff of the Africa CDC. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can we put our hands together for Dr. John for that wonderful speech? It's very touching. I want to clap, but I also don't want to clap. The statistics are not encouraging. But I think this is a call, and we're happy to have people like you that will speak truth to situations, to forums like this. We need to do more. And I believe that we've got business leaders here, and more hopefully will be done in the coming months. Again, I'm excited all through this. Her Excellency Mrs. Graka-Macha is here, listening, encouraging, supporting us, and Dr. Goodluck Jonathan and all of our great leaders who are part of this. I now call on very quickly a female leader who's done us very proud in the mining sector, a male-dominated industry. I don't know how she does it, but she thrives, not only thrives, she leads. Please put your hands together for Mrs. Tigui-Danka Kamara, all the way from Guinea, for the wonderful work you're doing. And can you show us your word and say a few words? Please put your hands together as she presents to us her words. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you so much for having me here, Your Excellencies. I am very honored to have been chosen to be among such wonderful people. I'm not going to be too long because basically everything has been said. You know, all the challenges that we need to overcome has been said. So as a young leader, because it happens, I'm again the youngest among all here. So I guess this is a hard hat to also carry on. So to speak a little bit in the name of the African youth, women leadership, that education is important. And I think His Excellency Nana Akufo had said it before. In a few years' time, Africa will be the youngest continent in the world. So what are we doing to prepare for that? We need jobs. You know, we have right now, we are going through a health pandemic. So all these are things that governments and the population need to be awarded for. You know, as entrepreneurs, we need to create more jobs that will be able to employ youth, you know, but what kind of education the youth should be having? Because we have in Africa a lot of young people that have so many high grades, but when you open an enterprises, company, factories, sometimes the high grade, the high diplomas are not what is needed. So we need to also look and then focus also on the labor force, the regular people. You know, with the pandemic, we have seen that there has been a great shift. We have gone into the fourth industrial era. And I'm sure that a lot of people don't know what that means, meaning that technology is taking over. The world, as we know before, is not going to be the same anymore. And as you can see, now we are having virtual forums versus to meeting each other. So this is going to be a turning point. So it's not just a health pandemic. It is a change. When they used to say a few years back, the world that we know will be ending, everybody must have been thinking that is a catastrophe, we're going to all die. But I believe that the era that's ending was the way we used to live before. And the new era that's in now is technology, and people need to adapt to it. And then, you know, there are many sectors that are going to be impacted by this new way of living. So agriculture is very important because we need to feed this new breed of young generation that's coming around, you know. And one more time again, education. And then not to be too long, I'm going to just put an emphasis also on the political leadership. As we see everywhere in Africa now, one of the nominees has said something about Arabic Spring. I didn't get the whole term, but it is important that we start showing a new form of leadership. You know, the new generation today, the new young Africans are very much likely aware of what is going on throughout the world. And we want change. We want a new way of leading Africa. And that cannot be done without us, Africa. So I was very happy when His Excellency, President of Ghana, mentioned Ghana Aid Beyond Aid. And I'm very happy because I was there. I was one of the panelists, and I also was among the 15 influencers that were being used, that was chosen by UNDP to push the program. So it is important that we Africans, we wake up and we know that Africa will not go forward without us. And we thank all the foreign help, but it's time that us as Africans, we take our destiny at hand. And also, someone who don't know where you come from doesn't know where you will go. So let's not forget our culture. When we're talking about education, cultural education is very important. It's because I know who I am as an African that today I could be among such valuable people here and speak despite my age. And I'm very proud to be African. I'm very proud to be Black, and I'm very proud to be a woman. Thank you so much for having me with you.
Very much. Put your hands together again for Tibitanka Kamara, all the way from Guinea, doing amazing things for women food, not just in Ghana, Guinea, but across Africa. Thank you and congratulations. Now I'll call on Mr. Onyeka, and after Onyeka, I'll call on Mr. Agnes Kalibata. But Mr. Onyeka is a young man also, and I'm happy our leaders are here watching you. The people you inspired are in the room. And let's hear Mr. Onyeka as he shares a few words and shows us his award. Onyeka.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Ken Giami. Thank you to the organizers of the African Leadership Awards. I find this, so I have my plate here. I hope you can see it clearly.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I find this honor very, very profound for me. Just like Tigio Danke mentioned in her own speech, for us that are young Africans that are doing things in areas that you wouldn't find many young people doing, it becomes really important for us to become role models for other youths. And for me personally, as an entrepreneur, finding myself using technology in several areas of the economy, whether it's in real estate or transportation, but more importantly, in agriculture, it is very, very instrumental in how I'm influencing young people to say, I had a background in software engineering, I had a first class in software engineering, but I'm using my skill set in the farm to help people produce food better, to help people sell their food better and make farmers wealthier. My whole goal, along with over 100 people in my team, is on a daily basis, continue to find ways to aggregate funds for the farmers, to connect them with the right inputs, to produce better, to make them successful farmers so that people can eat. Every one of us on this call today ate, irrespective of our titles, irrespective of our office. It tells you how important that sector is. And that is why I'm championing this cause. And I find it a huge honor that I've been selected as the African agricultural champion. I mean, at my age, where people say, when you look at the average farmer, they say the average farmer is between 55 and 60. I'm in my mid-30s, and being recognized for this tells you where the day is shifting. And so I'm very, very excited about this. I'm going to continue preaching the gospel of agriculture. Awards like this will continue to motivate the people in my team who are between the ages of 20 and 30 and 35. I mean, you have only maybe 3 other people that are frankly older than myself in the organization of over 100 people that are excited about how we're doing what we're doing in the agriculture space. And so to all the excellencies on the call, I find it very humble. I mean, I'm quite humbled when I saw President Goodluck Jonathan. I met him once, I don't think you will remember, in 2009, when I won the third best prize in web design in Nigeria. And he gave me my first award. I was excited then. The president of Ghana as well, who I met in Ghana once when I came to present my company called Farm Crowd there, and all the other dignitaries on the call. I find this a huge honor for myself, but also an encouragement for young people in my sector. And so to the organizer, thank you very much again for this. You don't know how much this will mean to young people. Every one of us that's watching this, myself included, and every other young person that is watching this, will understand the importance of the work we're doing on the continent. And I say thank you for recognizing us. And so thank you to everyone on the call. Thank you, Dr. Ken Giami. I appreciate you very much for this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Onyeka of Farm Crowdy. I'm happy His Excellency is especially clapping for you too. I'm really happy to. It's our joy to bring young people who are role models in the society where people think all young people are criminals. And then we'll see people like you, and you're not just pursuing some of the fancy profession, but you've made agriculture interesting. He's been listed in various major international media, TV, radio, internationally, I mean internationally, outside of Africa, for what he's doing in the agriculture field. No wonder Africans voted you as the agricultural champion. Well done, and keep up the good work. And may I now call on Agnes Kalibata, who is by no means the least. She's doing amazingly, amazingly well all the way from Rwanda. And can you show us your word and share a few words? That's the last of the words this evening, and after which Lord Sinwandi will take over. Please put your hands together specifically and much more so for Agnes Kalibata, who is by no means the least. She's doing amazingly, amazingly well. I've read your bio, I've seen what you've done, and congratulations. And we'll see your award and a few words.
Thank you. Thank you, Africa Leadership Magazine. This is the award. So thank you for the recognition. Let me start by excellencies, recognizing the excellencies that are on the call, and really appreciate being in the same company, something that is only a dream. And let me also recognize and appreciate being recognized along Her Excellency Glaka Machel on climate issues. It's a great honor. It's someone I look up to, and I'm greatly honored to have been recognized in that category. I work as the president of the Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa, an institution that works to improve agriculture in Africa and to really expand opportunities for smallholder farmers. Like you said, I've seen, Ken, I've worked in that capacity in Rwanda, where I saw agriculture being an opportunity for us to change our continent. And I saw it with my own hands, because we did it. We were able to reduce poverty, we were able to remove hunger. And I've seen it also across the continent. The president of Ghana was just talking about the youth, but what he didn't say is in the last 4 years, he has created over 700,000 jobs from his Planting for Food and Jobs program that he put in place. So the opportunities in the agricultural sector and for communities that live in the agricultural sector, like many of you know, many of us come from those type of backgrounds, are huge. But this is being reversed by climate change. And for me, that's where my passion comes from. I cannot see something that was beginning to become our hope and future being taken away from us. And we don't even know where it's coming from. The farmers that are being affected every day don't even know how this is happening. They don't know where climate change is coming from, and they don't know what it means. So I see an opportunity for those of us that have a voice to really stand up and say climate change needs to stop, because it's impacting people. Like my people, my farmers, Africa's farmers are being impacted. And Africa is only contributing 4% to climate change, but Africa is suffering immensely. And this is not going to stop until we do something about it. So I'm really lucky that I've been given an opportunity now as Special Envoy for the Food Systems Summit, where I'm using this voice to raise the voice and try to show people what is going on. Now, we need to stop climate change, but while we are doing this, we need to immediately pay attention to resilience and adaptation, because communities are already suffering. Right now, only 1.7% of the resources that are available as climate funds goes to resilience and adaptation. And yet we know that our farmers live this every day. And for me, this is unacceptable. I'm grateful to African Development Bank and what the president of African Development Bank has done recently to announce a fund to support countries with resilience and adaptation. And these are the type of efforts we need to be seeing as a continent. We need to put together this type of way. So I appreciate the leadership you're putting here. As AGRA, we have put in place a program that you might be interested in as African Leadership Magazine. We put in place a program we are calling African Leadership Academy that creates a learning opportunity for African leaders to come together and exchange ideas. The biggest opportunity for me working on a continental platform has been being able to share what I learned from Rwanda as a scientist who had an opportunity to use that science to change farmers' lives, and the opportunity now that we have at Agra to continue using science to transform people's lives by ensuring that they have access to good seeds, to good fertilizers that work for them, and to markets. And now the opportunity that the Continental Free Trade Area is offering is Africa's biggest opportunity, but we will not be able to exploit it if climate change continues the way it's doing. So let's raise our voices, let's work together, and let's continue recognizing Africa's best. I really want to thank, this is all because I have a great team of Africans from 30 countries of young Africans that are working hard every day, hoping that their continent will change and putting a lot of effort behind the work that we are doing. So thank you for recognizing this work. Thank you for the people that voted for me. And thank you for putting me amidst such great company and great people. So, and thank you for the work you're doing.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to all of the younger people. Congratulations to His Excellency Dr. Jonathan, Her Excellency Greg Merchel, all of our leaders, President of Ghana, and all of you, Dr. Tedros, Dr. John. We are truly, truly proud of what you do, how you inspire Africa. And for all of the distinguished leaders too, we're supposed to get the congressional commendation. Honorable Minister of Liberia, Minister of Finance, Liberia, Minister Twe, Dr. Pale, Mankoba, Kumalo, Dr. Tenny Adesanya, and Dr. Kwame Kie. Been told that your recommendations have been dispatched by DHL in the next 5 or 7 working days. On that note, may I hand over to Wendy Lawson, and thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Giami. And it's so wonderful to see all of this recognition. As was mentioned earlier in the program, 120,000 Africans weighed in, and here's the result. The Persons of the Year in the 9th African Leadership Magazine Persons of the Year ceremony. We're very delighted to be able to be in the room, if you will, with all of you, and to learn so much about what is being developed from those who are starting out with these businesses, something like Farm Crowdy, rather, the app that was mentioned, all the way up to leaders who have been serving for decades and are sharing what their experience has meant to the continent. So frequently we have this dichotomous relationship where we either say, all of those who are of the elder group know exactly what to do, or we will give it all to the youth and they will take it. And well, we know that neither of these solutions actually produces the best result. So it's wonderful to see both those who have been experienced for some time and those who are up and coming in the same conversation together here today. We have a couple of videos that we wanted to share with you that continue to just uplift the spirit of this 9th Persons of the Year ceremony. So I'll ask that we go ahead and show those now.
Good evening. My name is Carlos Moore, and I'm honored and elated to be named to the 100 most influential African Americans list by the African Leadership Magazine. As the managing partner of the Cochran firm, Mississippi Delta, as a municipal judge in both Clarksdale, Mississippi and Grenada, Mississippi, as president-elect of the National Bar Association, and as a first-time author with 4 other co-authors of a new book entitled The 5 Brothers, Our Journeys to Successful Careers in Law and Medicine, I humbly say thank you. It has always been my desire to be an influential member of society, to help inspire young people to know that if I did it, they can do it too. As the 100 Black men of America say, what they see is what they'll be. I'm honored to be in the company of such great men as former President Barack Obama, former First Lady, forever First Lady Michelle Obama, the Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, as well as the late, great, legendary icon John Lewis. It's my hope and desire that one day I will walk worthy of this honor. Again, thank you.
Greetings, everybody. First of all, let me thank the African Leadership Magazine for putting together this event today. I would also like to thank my fellow awardees, particularly, of course, Ms. Kamara, the CEO of Tigi Holdings, who is the African Female Leader of the Year for 2020. Congratulations to you, Ms. Kamara. Dr. Tedros, who won the African of the Year, along with Strive Masiwia. They've both been fighting, of course, for finding solutions to the COVID crisis. Strive is a friend who has been working on the African vaccines acquisition task team endlessly to get vaccines onto the continent, along with Dr. Jen Kengasong, who has won the Public Health Champion of the Year. I would also like to recognize, of course, Mo Ibrahim, Ms. Grassa Michelle, Sadio Mane, who is for the youth. Thank you for recognizing the youth. I think it's an important part of looking for leaders on the continent. Of course, Dr. Ken Giami, the chairman and publisher of the African Leadership Magazine, and everybody else who has been nominated. Well, 2020 was a difficult year. 2020, of course, is a year which saw us with COVID, which saw us with an economic crisis, an exacerbation of the climate crisis, particularly in the Horn of Africa with locust drought, and of course in the Sahel, even more accentuated droughts. We hope that in 2021 we can do better. We hope we can get out of this crisis. I would like to celebrate all the new discoveries in the technology space that have begun to show us a route out of the COVID crisis. I also want to acknowledge the work that the pharmaceutical industry on the continent is beginning to do to refocus pharmaceutical production on the continent. The PPE industry that is doing more to ensure that we get PPEs produced on the continent. I think what we're beginning to see at the beginning of 2021 is an Africa that is resilient, is an Africa that we believe with the leadership in place and the resources needed can grow out of this crisis in a sustainable manner. With, of course, cognizant of the fact that climate change is upon us. Can we grow green? Can we grow better? Can we get the enablers to ensure that we together get out of this crisis? One of the things that Africa has demonstrated during this crisis is collective leadership. Ministers of Finance have come together to work in harmony to see how they can find solutions. Ministers of Health have come together, Ministers of Education, to ensure that our kids continue to go to school. And so I think with all this collaborative action that we have seen towards the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021, we believe that Africa has a chance to use its resilience to get out of the crisis.
Mozambique Services, LDA, is a Mozambican private and independent partnership company solely focused in clearing, forwarding, shipping, and logistics, committed to make a difference. Mozambique was established because of a nice customer client need for specialty agency service within the ports of Beira and Puerto, with their own unique challenges and problems, which includes but not limited to bottlenecks, inefficiency, slow response time, and excessive officialdom. Beira services some of the largest and fastest growing economy in the region, which has expanded port volumes considerably. Mozambique currently clears more than 120 trucks minimum average per day, meaning well off being 60% of the volume that goes via road and probably handles 95% of the pipeline inflow for the petroleum-based products into Zimbabwe. Matola focuses most on fuel and serving South Africa, Zimbabwe, Botswana, and Zambia via road and rails respectively. Mozambique has seen its own improvement within the starting to the days and more years to come. As of we started between 2010 and 2011, building up our volumes from 7.5 to 10,000 cubes of gasoline monthly, combined both rail and road. We have seen quite a lot of improvement into demand to this kind of products today. As of 2012 to date, Mozambique has grown in improved volumes and currently moving plus 175,000 ships, all combined products within Matola and Beira, monthly, making it one of the main clearing agents in Mozambique, one of the best in the region, maybe one of the greatest in Africa. Backgrounds and clients' problems for the reason why we are here. Mozambique focuses on serving clients with specific reference to the above and subsequently has developed a unique service offering to match. Most of them are lack of problems that
Oxford International Group is a multi-sectoral business empire with tentacles across the entire business landscape of Nigeria, with over 200 subsidiaries engaged in various business activities ranging from real estate and its investment, agriculture, information technology management, building and construction, engineering, logistics services, human capital development, asset management, banking, dredging, telecoms, and many more. We are creating value across the entire ecosystem and giving opportunities for making legitimate earnings. Visit our Lagos head office, the Oxford Group Place, House 9, B Close, 113 Road, Gowon Estate, Egbeda, Lagos. For further inquiries, call 0903-675-3779 or 0704-530-4808. If you're thinking of investment, think Oxford International Group, your safest haven for a secured future.
And again, congratulations to all of those who have been recognized today in the 9th African Leadership Magazine Persons of the Year. So lovely to see some of these businesses in action as well, some of the businesses of our awardees. As we come down to the final 5 minutes of the program, want to thank all of you for your participation, most especially Your Excellencies, Dr. Jonathan and Mrs. Marshall, for remaining with us the entire time, along with all of the other leaders who are here with us today. We've come to a very special moment. As you know, we always have the opportunity in these spaces to unveil the new African Leadership Magazine cover and the contents of that special publication in honor of the event. So we're almost close to closing, but we know you don't want to leave without having an opportunity to take a look at this edition of African Leadership Magazine. While this is getting queued up, I can also take a moment to thank our technical staff because, of course, you know, the behind the scenes is where the actual action is taking place, and they're having to bring together all of the elements, making sure that we're, of course, streaming and continuing to not only be here on the platform, but also going out live on the streaming service as well. So I want to take a moment just to thank you, all of you who are doing that, and to encourage you. I know it was probably a little bit of a difficult transition to go very quickly from one video to the next, and I know we're going to call that up in just a moment. As we're doing that, of course, though, it's just another special time to thank all of you who have been present, those of you who have been in the audience, but also so many of our special honorees and our special guests who have been with us. We, of course, mentioned that the former president, of course, of the Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Jonathan, has been with us, as well as the former president of Sierra Leone, helping to open for us, Mr. Karoma. All of these wonderful luminaries who have been present in the field of public health. You know, we've had a chance, of course, to hear from the World Health Organization and to award the African of the Year award to Dr. Tedros. We, of course, were honored to have in the room as well the head of the African Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. We had, of course, Dr. Nkenga Song with us. He formerly was here with us in the US, in the city where I live in Atlanta, at the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And we've watched in awe as he's led the charge to prevent more lives from being lost in Africa during this global pandemic. Of course, pointing out to us that we have to look at manufacturing our vaccines on the continent of Africa, being able to invest in public health infrastructure within African nations, raise public health leadership, various people who are going to be able to take the lead in this and future pandemics, because we know that they will come. And of course, that engagement with the private sector as well. So we want to just thank all of you who have been here and all of those who have been awarded. We hope that being able to hear from such luminary voices at this time has been really helpful to you. And I think I'll ask one more time to see whether we have the opportunity to see this premiere cover of African Leadership Magazine. If not, we may just have to go to the newsstand or to the website to check it out. So it looks like I'm going to have to leave you on the edge of your seats, which is not a bad position to be at anyway, right? It enables us to look forward with a lot of enthusiasm to the fact that we will have this unveiling of the special African Leadership Magazine edition to include all of these persons of the year honored in this 9th celebration. Thank you all so much for being here today and for lending your support, not only to recognition of these luminaries, but really in essence to the growth of the continent of Africa. We know that the future is in Africa, and of course we know that you are all at the head of making sure that that leadership continues. Thank you so much for being a part today of the 9th African Leadership Magazine Persons of the Year. We hope that you have a wonderful evening. Thanks for joining us. We didn't have to sit on the edge of our seats for long. Here it comes. Beautiful publication. Congratulations. And to close us out today, let's call back once again our publisher of African Leadership Magazine, Dr. Ken Giami.
Thank you so much, Wendy. It's always a beautiful experience watching you do what you know how to do best. Let me stand on existing protocols, but specifically single out His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, former President of Nigeria, and High Excellency Graco Mitchell for their support, for standing here, and for the inspiring example you are to Africans everywhere. And let me also very, very warmly recognize that the President of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, for being part of this very august meeting, and for the leadership he's shown on the continent, and for his support working with his other brother presidents in driving the African agenda forward. I also thank our African of the Year, Dr. Tedros, for being an African we're truly proud of. His management of this very dangerous time has been nothing but very excellent, and we stand by him and support him, and we'll continue to do so. I also want to thank all of our very distinguished, His Excellency Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma is someone, I'm so fortunate to share a birthday with him. He was born the same day, like, he was born 2nd October, and I'm excited that I share the same birthday with him. I think I draw some of the genes he has, and I look forward to continue to serving Africa even when I get to his age. I also want to thank the Honorable Minister for Commerce of Eswatini, Minister of Finance of Liberia, all of our distinguished female leaders, which is Kalibata, Mara, and I also want to thank, you may not know all of those behind the scenes people, Franyan Cabral Ruiz, for the excellent work she's done. I call her General, but we've got the real General here, General Vincent Mungwe. Thank you so much, General, for the great work you're doing in Malawi. And for the young people, Mr. Onyeka, Dr. Berry, Dr. John, and all, if I didn't mention your name, please forgive me, Dr. Kwame Kie, Mr. Edo Pale, he's a brother from another mother. Thank you for the work you do in Mozambique. He invited me last year. Unfortunately, I couldn't travel. I hope that very soon COVID will let us travel. Thank you again for all of the excellent contributions we've had today. I have been inspired. I can assure you several others who have been part of this live stream have also been inspired. And the future is bright because you're leading. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your service. And we look forward to continuing the discussions even after this event. You'll be hearing more from us in the coming days on how we can take the Africa agenda forward. On that note, thank you very, very especially, Wendy, for the fantastic work you've done. As always, we are truly proud of you. And to my team at the African Leadership Magazine, you've been wonderful, from Kingsley, the managing editor, to the rest of the team. Thank you for the great work you guys do. I just come and smile and look at the cameras. They do all the work. Thank you so much, guys, for the great work you do. And thank you, and thank you, and thank you. On that note, we can call it a day until we meet again. Can we, before we go, can we just all, for those of you who are on here, put on your camera for a quick group photograph for a minute, and then we can wave ourselves. Take a minute to just wave. We want to capture you waving. Do it slowly so we can get the picture. Thank you very much. Okay, His Excellency Dr. Jonathan is presenting this award. If you're holding your award, can you lift up yours? Please put your hands together for Dr. Jonathan. That's beautiful. He's a man I continue to love. He's a true leader. The first time I met him was by 2 a.m. at the villa. I was brought there by one of his friends, and I was surprised at his sitting room. We had more than 40 people waiting to see him at 2 a.m. No wonder that level of service, it's appreciated. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. And to all of you who have been part of this call, congratulations to all of you. And you can wave now. See you later until we meet again. Thank you, General. Thank you, everyone. And God bless you all.